I've been nudged to do a video about this level of consciousness diagram. Now, it is from a book called Power versus Force by a gentleman called David R. Hawkins. And it's talking about our hierarchy, I mean, how we go through human consciousness. So right down at the bottom is where I was 30 years ago. And so when we haven't even looked at personal development. So I'll go through these so that you get a bit of an idea and you can gauge where you are. Now, there's a normal state that we're at. And certainly for me 30 years ago, I was down the bottom. Now I'm way up the top. But then if something happens, you drop down to a level. So let's have a look at them. Now, first of all, let's start at the bottom. We're moving our way upwards. So shame, where something's happened in your life and you're not feeling good about yourself. You know, this is sort of a self-directed hatred because something that you've done. And so until you learn to move on from it, to forgive yourself, to understand the part of that it has in your life, etc., you're going to stay slotting down in that negative place in life. So guilt, moving upwards, you may be having sort of some thoughts about life not being so good as well. Think yourself as a sinner. Can't forgive yourself, and so some of the religions this is what happens, and so you get stuck right down there in this stage of guilt. And whereas essentially another way of looking at it is a journey in life that you have to learn about. So apathy, moving upwards, feeling hopelessness or victimized. So kind of understanding that there is actually some journey, some things that you have to learn to be able to live your life, and so you're going around in a negative circle. Now, grief is a perpetual state of sadness or loss. However, you do drop down into grief when you lose somebody you love, and you can get depressed about it. And there is the grief cycle as well that you go through. But so that's another journey as well. So fear, seeing the world as dangerous and unsafe. And so when you watch all the news, certainly that's where you often are. You know, you're always sort of too scared to do anything. I know I spent thousands of dollars to be able to work to overcome this fear. So I teach that in my course as well, because otherwise we remain trapped there for the rest of our lives. So desire, so not to be confused with setting or achieving goals. This is a level of addiction, craving, and lust for money, approval, power, or fame, consumerism, materialism. You know, so it can even be that you've got a desire to do drugs and smoking and things like that. So moving on to anger now, I just want to remind you that this is an article that's been written about this level of consciousness, and I'm just reading through it and giving you some ideas about it. So with anger, the level of frustration, often not having your desires met at a lower level, so things that happened before this hadn't come together. Being angry can spur you on to taking actions at a higher level or keep you stuck in hatred. So in an abusive relationship, you'll often see an anger person coupled with a fear person. So that's a lose-lose relationship. If you remember, if you've had a look at the relationship scenarios that I've got as well on this page. So moving up again, we're going on to pride. The first thing you start to feel good. They say it's a false feeling, but it's about you're starting to achieve things that you thought that you couldn't do it before, albeit that it's learning to drive get your driver's license or lose some weight or anything. So it's actually starting to move up the level of starting feeling good for yourself. Courage. Okay, so the first level of true strength is courage, and it actually it can be before this pride as well, from my perspective, when you've got the courage to try something new. So this is where you know that life is challenging and exciting instead of overwhelming. So you're starting to move forward and you're going to risk it. You know that there's a bit of a journey you're going to go on. You're beginning to get an inkling in personal growth. Well, if you're on this page, you already are. But you're starting to understand that if you want to move forward in your life, it's going to take courage to go out and find a new job, a new partner, or learn about your life or whatever, and you're starting to do it. So moving up again, we're into neutrality. Live and let live is what they're saying. Flexible, relaxed, and unattached. Okay, so a little bit more about neutrality. Whatever it's going with the flow in life a little bit. You don't have to prove anything. You're sort of feeling safe and getting along with other people. So you're in a comfortable spot, and you're taking your care of your needs, and not, and you're not pushing yourself too hard, but you're achieving the goals that you want to. So willingness, consciousness scale, you're safe and comfortable, using your energy more effectively. Just getting by isn't good enough anymore. You care about your job, doing your best, and you think about time management. You've overcome procrastination, and you're developing your real sense of willpower and self-discipline. So you're really achieving some of the things that you want to do. You're good at your job, and you've moved up to that area there. So one more up again, we're going up to acceptance. Now powerful shift changes. So you're starting to awaken to life, of living proactively. So at the level of willingness, you're starting to realize that there's actually something that out there. You're starting to embrace your purpose. So you're starting to realize that there is something else that you can do in life. If something's not right, you're comfortable to let it go, so that you can become the best version of yourself. I mean, because we know that we want to do it, but we've got to get on the journey to do it. Now we're at the level we are starting to do it. So you're changing diets, starting new careers, and that sort of thing as well. So it's moving up the scale of your thinking. So reason. So you've sort of catapulted. So carrying on with reason, so you've catapulted to think, well, maybe there is a purpose that I'm here to live. You actually now starting to do it. I know all the stuff. I'm good at the stuff. Your gifts and talents, and you're starting to sort of think, well, where can I make a meaningful contribution? So you've moved out of living life just for yourself to create a good life. Now you're moving into how you can help people. And you may have been doing this earlier, but you're doing it now from a win. So it's a slightly different. You're not doing it at a win lose where it's always everybody else and you're at the bottom of the list. So moving up once again, we're going up into the love. Now love is actually, love is at all levels, but what we're looking at is again sort of like a win-win, unconditional love, but you're still honoring and valuing yourself in this level. You've awakened to your purpose. You are starting to live your purpose. Your motives at this level are pure and uncorrupted by the desires of the ego. So just continuing on with this. So at this level, you are ready to give your lifetime service to humanity, which means you're ready to really live your purpose and bring it to the world. So what they're talking about people here is like people like Gandhi or Mother Teresa, anybody that is willing to, and there's millions of people around the world that are doing this, and in effect I'm doing it. This is my calling, and I'm out here teaching people, and I know that's what I'm supposed to do. So you're being guided by a force greater than yourself, and most certainly I am. It's been a journey to be here, and I help you people on my course to understand this is you have got some gifts and talents and to go on this journey as well. But it's a feeling of letting go and trusting, living in faith, where your intuition becomes extremely strong. So as I said at the beginning that I was nudged to do this. So there's somebody out there that needs to hear this, maybe many of you. So the guy that wrote this level of consciousness says that there's about 1 in 25 people during their entire lifetime get up to this stage. So being part of this page is a privilege for you, and a privilege for me to be able to serve you. So thank you for being here. So joy. So Urquhart Tolle talks about this, about being in the power of now. So it's like understanding that right at this particular second in time, you've got synchronicity, intuition, leading you in your life. Your consciousness is expanded, and you're operating at much higher level. And what they've got written here, near-death experience can temporarily bump you to this level. Well, certainly for me, when I snuffed it in the garden and came back again 10 years ago, it was like, well, what do I do? I'll follow all the messages I've been given. So it's living in a continuous state of happiness. So the top two, we've got peace, total transcends. I'll go, anyway. Hawkins, the guy, says only one person in a million gets there. And there's enlightenment. So this is the highest and I'll come back. Okay, so basically what I've taken you on is that journey of from negative to positive, your consciousness level from not being in a positive place all the way up to being enlightened and following your calling and your purpose and knowing that you are here and you are part of a bigger picture of oneness of the human race, and you've got things that you can do by learning to become the best version of yourself, and then going out and helping other people and having that's where the joy and the happiness is, the success, and you're in full alignment. So that's an article written by Steve Polina, and it was a book about power versus forces by David Hawkins. So to give you some idea of where you can go in your life, and certainly on my journey, I've done plenty of that. I teach that in my courses as well, because it's understanding that that's actually the best person that you can be, where you're going to get the most happiness and joy, and where you can help humanity as well. So if you've got any questions, put them on the page, and I'll endeavour to answer them. So thanks for listening. Just realising that it's your journey that you're going on as you raise yourself up that